All right, so let's jump in and create our first Electron app and see exactly how we're going to do this new magic thing that creates a desktop application using our Chrome browser. All right, so let's rock and roll. All right, so the first thing we do, just like anything else, is we're going to initialize our JSON package, our package JSON. So we're going to do npm init. And if I put the \y, then I don't have to enter all those prompts. It'll just put all the defaults in for me, and we are good to go. There's my package JSON file. All right, sweet. For this particular application, we're going to not use index. We're going to use main.js as our entry point. So I'm just going to change that while we're here. Next thing we need to do is we need to install Electron. So npm install. And I'm going to put in Electron. This time I'm going to put a dash capital D. And what this does is it's going to install the files I need for development only, because a lot of these files I won't need when I actually publish this application. So when I publish, the development files won't be published, just available for me to use. And I'm kind of stalling here while I have this slow internet connection. Put this on pause till it decides to finish up. All right, so when you're done, it is going to install. There it goes. It's going to install in package JSON. You're going to see this time that my dev dependencies, this is my development dependencies. So I just need these particular files installed and for development. I think I kind of went through that already. So to run Electron, well, let's see. Let's get started here. We need to create our main.js file, and so we're going to just do that, main.js, and we're going to not talk and type at the same time. We're going to require our Electron files, Electron. Fantastic. Okay, and then we're going to start up equals Electron. So this is pretty much the beginning of any of our Electron apps that we create. And then, not unlike we did in jQuery, we want to set up a method so that when our app is loaded and ready to go, then we're going to start to do things. Kind of like the document ready when we did jQuery. So we're going to do app on ready. And then I'm going to send it this anonymous function. We've done it in various ways. You can do you can do something like this for an anonymous function. You can do an underscore with the fat arrow and then the open and closing braces, or you can do function. They're all doing the same thing, just a matter of who's documenting it and what video you're watching, I suppose. And we have to close our app on. There we go. And so this is just indicating then that once the app is started and ready to roll, go ahead and run the anonymous function, which is just like we did in jQuery. So let's just console log this just to make sure it's working. Console log Electron running. Okay, now something that we're going to do a little bit differently this time. In order to run Electron, you can't just do node Electron like we've done in the past. That should comes up with an error. What needs to run is actually in our node modules in our bin directory. There is this Electron file. And so instead of going in here and typing all of that out, node modules, blah, 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 what we're going to do instead is we're going to go to our package JSON file. You can keep this test line if you want. I'm just going to erase it or type over it. I'm going to type the word start. And then in these quotations, I'm going to type in Electron. And what a script does then is enables us to do kind of a shortcut from the command line. So now all I have to do is type in npm start, and it should start up Electron for us. And so here is Electron getting started, and then Electron is running. I guess I spelled Electron wrong, but that's right out of our console log. So we know that it's running, something's running. We're in our on anonymous function and things seem to be running. So I'm going to hit Control C just to break this job that we're currently running, because I know that my console log is working. That's fantastic. Okay, so big deal. All right, now what can we do that's a little bit more impressive? Well, the idea behind Electron is that Electron will be a desktop application that runs in a Chrome browser window. And so that Chrome browser window allows us to write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript like we already know how to do, except now we're creating a desktop application utilizing that. So let's see, how can I do that? Well, let's just go ahead and jump in and do it. I'm going to create a variable called browser window and set it equal to Electron has a submodule called app. So I'm going to, browser window. So we're going to set that variable. And then we need to open that window. So I'm going to give it a main window variable equals new browser window. And for now, just keep it simple. And let's just run that and see what happens. Remember, semicolons are optional. Depends on which video you watch to see if they actually put that in or not. So anyway, so npm start. And let's see what happens. Hey, check that out. So this is a Chrome browser window. Comes with its own custom set of menus that we can access or utilize. And for now, we're just going to ignore that, and I'm going to close it out. All right, so along the same vein of listening for this app to be on, let's be good programmers, and when we close out the app, let's close out our variable that's sitting there holding the window. So kind of a garbage collection kind of thing. So main window dot on. So this is like an event listener on closed. And then anonymous function. So again, depending on which way you do it, I'm going to do the underscore and the fat arrow just for something a little different. There's my braces, and we're going to say, let's just log it so we know that it worked. Console log closed. We can see it work, and then we're going to set that variable equal to null. There we go. So now let's run this again and see what we get. npm start. There's my cool window. Can't wait to see how that's all going to work. And then I'm going to close this window, and I should see, sure enough, there's closed. So we did a little cleanup maintenance there. Okay, if you want to, you can send your browser some specific information, just an object. I'm going to send width, for example, maybe width of 300 and height of 200. Let's see if that works. So again, save, npm start, run my window. Hey, check that out. All right. So, very cool, but you said that I can use HTML. Did you not? I did say that. All right, so let's create just a real simple index page. So, create an index.html, and let's see. I'm not going to use all of this, so I'm just going to make that go away, make my life a little easier right now, and my Electron page. Fantastic. Okay, so let's give it like an H1 maybe, and we'll say awesome. Okay, so there's my page. Not real fancy or cool, but hey, you don't need to know HTML. You know it already. I mean, you need to know it, but you don't need me to tell you about it because you should already know it by now. All right, so let's go back to our main.js, and we want to somehow load that page into our new window. So how can we do that? Well, let's see. We're still going to be inside of our app on function, and I'll be outside of my new browser function there. All right, so now we're going to do main window, load URL, case sensitive URL, and then since I'm just in the file right now, I can use the file. I should use a backclick. You can do this however you want. I'm going to do that backclick tick that we've seen before, file -- and if I use $ and open and close braces, $_dirnam. No matter if we're on a Mac or on a PC or Linux, this dir name will pull out the current directory that we are running our file from. And then once we're in that current directory, we want to run index.html. So that should load our index page. Let's just see if that works. So I can npm start. And awesome. Boy, I can't spell, but you know, the concept is awesome. Fantastic. All right, so let's spell awesome so I don't feel so unawesome. There we go. All right, well, how about CSS? Can we still do stuff with CSS? Well, of course we can. So let's create a simple styles CSS page. Styles.css. And maybe on here we'll do something very, very complex like H1 font variant, small caps, and color purple. Yeah, PURP. There we go. Okay, that sounds good. And then we go to our index page, and we're going to want to link our index page. So link, and then href equals. It's in the same directory we're running our index page from. So styles.css. Relationship is equal to style sheet. So this all looks familiar, I'm hoping. And we should be able to save that. And let's run that and see how we do. npm start. And awesome. Okay, even spelled right. Fantastic news. All right, so now how about adding a JavaScript page to our, a JavaScript file to our index page? Well, we can do that too. It does look a little bit different, and so I'll show you what we need to do for that. So I'll go ahead and do our script. But this time we're going to very Node.js-y require, instead of putting in a link to our style page, or our JavaScript page, we're going to require it instead. Let me just finish this out because there we go. Require, and we'll just call it in the current directory, look for, we'll call it renderer.js. Okay, and so a little bit different syntax here, but in our current directory, look for this file. We don't currently have that file, so let's create it, renderer.js. And that's just it's not a particular name. You can do whatever you want there. So like any other JavaScript page, you can do whatever your normal JavaScript is. I'm going to do console log from the JavaScript page. Okay, so now that's console logging something. Let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. All right, so nothing got console logged. So where's the console log? Well, I'll show you, even though I made this window fairly small for us to see. If you look here under view, we still have access to our developer tools. So if I look in our developer tools, and I make this a little bit bigger so we can see it, and we go to console, we should see from the JavaScript page. So because this page is is a JavaScript page that's being rendered from our index page, which is just like we would do in a browser, that console log is going to come into our developer tools. So we still have access to all of the developer tools that we've had in the past. We can debug, we can print things in the console to get an idea of what our values are and that kind of thing. So that's kind of a cool feature. And then if we close this window, don't forget that the console log from the main is still console logging down here in my command line. So that's a good starting point. We've seen here how we can create our first Electron app. We have created it in, let's see, in our package.json. We've created in development mode. We have made our starting point, main.js, our starting page, and the main.js page we created. We also created a script that allows us to very simply type in npm and then whatever our script name is, and that's going to automatically launch our program for us. And let's see, we saw how we can, in our main, how we start up our Electron files, how we create our first window. We've loaded our HTML into our window, HTML page, and we can see how our CSS, our JavaScript, and our style sheets work exactly like we've done with so many of our websites in the past. Kind of cool, huh?